Well, we're just talking about what we're going to cook. Chef John has a lot going on, so he's trying to give me the rundown. And we have the Italian Fisherman, is by the way who Chef John is. It's what his restaurant is called. Now, you're going to have to pronounce what we're cooking because this is a French dish today. And if you read what I'm looking at on the prompter, tell me what that's called.
Well, it's, for scallop, Coquilles, Saint-Jacques, à la Parisienne.
All right, say that 3 times fast.
I don't say it as good as our French guest will later, but anyhow, that's not bad.
All right, well, I think you did a pretty good job. So basically, this is scallops, mushrooms, wine,
cream, butter, all the great things that make the cuisine of France so great. Yeah, we're starting with the dry wine. We've got some minced shallots in there. We've got some parsley and bay leaf to extract some flavors into the liquid. We're going to be reducing that volume, and then we're going to be coming back with these bay scallops, the smaller ones. I really like the divers too. By the way, see that shell there? That's a diver scallop shell. That's what the scallop shell looks like. That's half of it.
Let's put this up so we can show you guys what this looks like. Look how big this is.
Yeah.
That is really neat looking.
Things we see along our coast sometimes have these little ones in there, but that's get your divers. So anyhow, we'll be bringing all this together. Then we're going to finish topping it off eventually with some Gruyere cheese and little breadcrumbs and butter. Broil it and come up with a beautiful dish for those that like scallops like I do. Okay,
but first, as you mentioned, we want to start with the wine. And how long, by the way, do you want to put these little ingredients together? Because I know you've had this going. It's
about
been smelling
5 minutes. We're simmering it about 5 minutes just so we don't get rid of don't blow off all the volume before we get the flavors extracted.
Okay. And what kind of wine do you have here?
It's a dry wine, French dry wine.
Okay. All right.
And by the way, what's it say here? It says, luscious, perfect wine for seafood, oysters, and shrimp. So this is the perfect accompaniment for this dish.
To drink or cook with when you're having that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love cooking with wine. Sometimes I do put it in the recipe.
Okay, sounds good. So 5 minutes, and this has been going about that time.
Yeah.
So what's next?
We're going to be going ahead and straining it.
Okay. And this recipe is online. As always, we make sure that you can cook this at home. So Studio 10 page, fox10tv.com, and everything is there step by step, all the ingredients you'll need. Don't want to leave anything out because you might want to make this tonight for yourself. Now, you can also get this at the Italian Fisherman. You guys are having a French wine dinner tomorrow evening at 6:45, and this is going to be a 4-course meal featuring 4 wines. You're going to have a little something like this.
Yes, we're going to start out with some great hors d'oeuvres, including cream mussel. We're going to have double day with caviar. We're going to have a smoked salmon and a special toast point, and we're going to have Gruyere cheese with walnuts on a toast point. Then we're going to go to a traditional French salad with green beans and egg and everything. And then we'll have a mixed grill of pork, beef, and lamb with some seasoned oven roasted potatoes. And we're going to finish with ricotta cheese and raspberry parfait.
It's a lot of food, so make sure you're hungry, and you do need to make reservations today. You only have spots for 40 people, so go ahead and make those reservations. You want to go in, and it's $60 per person, but again, that's a lot of food. You just heard all the food Chef John mentioned, so go in, make your reservations today, $60 a person, go tomorrow, and it's going to be tomorrow evening again, 6:45. Special guest speaker, we're going to hear from him coming up in just a few minutes. Recipe is online. We'll let this simmer a little bit longer.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay.
And we only have 6 places left on that dinner. So
so they really are going fast.
It's a great value, and it's a great selection of wines from rosé to a brut sparkling to a great white and red in between.
Okay, so go ahead and get those spots. And what time are you going to be at the restaurant? Start taking phone calls.
I'll be back there all afternoon doing some prep, but we have a message system. Just leave it. I went in there yesterday and I had a message for a couple more wanted to join us, so leave the message 478-2881, but I'll be in there and this afternoon, and then tomorrow we'll start early because we got to marinate and do things with the meat and all that stuff.
Okay, and the phone number is on fox10tv.com on our Studio 10 page as well as this recipe.
All right, back in the kitchen with Chef John, and we also have a special guest, Jean-Francois Christini. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're talking about a big French dinner coming up tomorrow night, pairing with some French wines. It's going to be fantastic, all taking place at the Italian Fisherman. And before we get back to the food, Chef John, I have to say that my wife and I recently had a date night. We got a chance to come on out to the Italian Fisherman, and man, we had some great service and some fantastic food. We had a blast. Thanks for having us out.
A pleasure. We had the best best customers in Mobile.
That is right. Well, a great place to go, especially tomorrow night. Like we mentioned, only 6 spots left for the big dinner tomorrow night, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so you got to get those reservations. Make them now. All the contact information is on our website. Let's check back in with what you're cooking here. Tell the folks what you're making and where we're at in the process.
Okay, we're doing a French dish that utilizes the base scallops, the smaller scallops. That shell there is what you would see if you were talking about diver scallops.
Okay.
But I have separated now from that the wine solution that we had there. It's dry white wine with the parsley and the bay leaf. And now we're going to condense that. We got this flavor infused into the scallops and the mushrooms. These are fresh mushrooms. And we're going to reduce it to concentrate the flavors. Then I'm going to go ahead and make a roux with flour and butter. And we're going to go ahead to that, then add the concentrated liquid back. We're going to add some heavy cream, which I have in the cooler there, to complete making the sauce. And then we're going to put the scallops now on a shell. We're going to cover it with the sauce, and then we're going to put some Gruyere cheese and breadcrumbs and butter topping and put it in the broiler.
Now hold on. Now what are we doing again here? Let me see if I can write that all down.
Yeah.
Hey, we want to talk to Jean-Francois as well from JF Wine Imports. You have one of your wines. You tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and what you're doing tomorrow night.
Well, we've been importing wine in the U.S. for now 17 years.
Okay.
We specialize in single estates, meaning we're dealing with the small farmers from all over Europe, especially from France, being from France.
Okay.
That helps a little bit. But we like to show people the farmers, the quality of what they put, because the industry in the U.S. changed completely in the last 15 years, I mean, especially with the wine consumption.
Tell us a little bit about when you came from France to the U.S. and why you came over here.
Well, the reason I came is because I went to the culinary school in East France, so I have put my hands in the pots and pan and in the wines, of course, at the same time, because in Europe we do wine and food. I mean, that's why we drink wine, to enjoy food with it. So
right.
that's why I'm looking for the event tomorrow night. And I'm sure the chef is going to do a great job, and it's going to be a good time. I mean, we have to make it simple and easy for people to understand.
Now, speaking of making it simple and easy for people to understand, explain more single estate wines. Why is that different from stuff you see in the stores and stuff?
Single estate is the farmer. I mean, we're dealing with the farmer, everyday farmer who gets on the tractor, who take the horse out to the field, everything is done by hand. Compared to the big negociant where they're buying grapes and juice from different people from all around, blending everything together. And what they do, they're bottling wine. They're not making wine. They're producing 1 million cases, 2 million cases. This is not winemaking anymore. This is production. So
I gotcha. So
we don't deal with that.
A lot more heart, time, effort, all that spent into the single estate wine. And tell us about the wine you actually have here this morning.
Well, this one is it's from the Languedoc region. It's a wine that I'm very proud of it because I make it. I mean, I make the blend on the top of it. And the good thing about it, it's a blend. And more people are starting to realize the blends are really enjoyable with food. They're easy to drink. And it's all done in stainless steel. Because a lot of wine that we find on the market now, it's done in wood. And it makes the wine very heavy, very creamy, very buttery, and it takes away some of the flavor when you pair it with food. So that's why I like with stainless steel. And this is a blend of Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Picpoul, Roussanne, and Muscat.
Wow.
5 different grapes. And very complex. And the big thing about it is the temperature as you drink the wine, because people have tendency to drink white wine way too cold. And when they get too cold, they get too acidic. And takes a lot of the flower, nose, the fruit, you're losing all that. So with the blend, by letting the wine sit on the table, the wine blends opens up and makes the wine very enjoyable.
And I tell you what, you want to learn a lot more about this and have some fantastic wine tomorrow night. Like we said, make your reservations for the Italian Fisherman. We'll check back in with you guys in just a little while. Appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
Beans are smelling so good. We have all kinds of wine in the kitchen. And as I walk in the kitchen, they're like, don't think that we're alcoholics because we're drinking early in the morning. We're sipping because it's 6 hours different in France, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so they're sipping a little bit of wine this morning. Also going to tell you about a big wine dinner coming up tomorrow night at the Italian Fisherman, but right now cooking some scallops.
Yes,
and what kind of sauce do we have here?
All right, this sauce is taking the condensed liquid that we used, started with the white wine that we went ahead and poached the scallops and the mushrooms in. So we took that concentrated flavor, we took and added, made a roux with the butter and the flour, and then we added also some heavy cream.
Okay.
And so, which is very traditional France, and you know, salt and pepper and a squeeze of fresh lime juice. We're going to cover this now, and then we're going to top it with this Gruyere and breadcrumb and butter topping.
And in the shell, you have scallops, mushrooms.
Yes, and little shallots that
Okay.
were, yeah. Those are button mushrooms, nothing fancy.
Okay.
And then we put this over it, and we're going to broil it at 400 degrees till you get the color you see out front there.
Okay.
And actually we actually did an egg too. We worked an egg in there to give a little bit more creaminess and you know, protein, shall we say, to the whole dish. But it's a beautiful dish. I'll put that now.
And you said 400 degrees, how long?
You got to watch about 5 or 7 minutes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
not
till you
long.
see the color you like.
All right, so we'll put that in. And we do have one finished product so you can see what it is supposed to look like if you want to make this at home. Recipe, all the ingredients you'll need, fox10tv.com on our Studio 10 page. Tomorrow night, French wine dinner at the Italian Fisherman, 6:45. Now, only 6 spots left at this point, so you do need to make reservations today.
Yeah, it's a delightful 4-course 4 wine from rosé to a beautiful brut sparkling. Got this great white wine in between with a red wine that's going to go with our mixed grill. This is going to go with a traditional French salad, and the first course is going to have everything from cream mussel to egg, deviled egg with caviar to some smoked salmon to walnut and Gruyere toast points. So it's quite an interesting.
Okay, you'll be there talking about some wine too, right?
Yes, this
Yes, I will.
Yes,
I'll be
Mr.
there.
Cristini,
Okay.
he's a professional in that regard. I just am the taster.
Okay, so you'll tell us what needs to be paired with what we should, what's going to taste the best.
They're all going to taste
Yeah?
just fine, yes. I mean, anytime you have some French wine and good food,
Yeah.
they all goes well all the time.
Okay.
It's very simple.
4-course meal, 4 different wines.
4
and
different
so,
regions also.
4 different regions.
So
Okay.
you'll be traveling a little bit France.
All
It
right.
makes more interesting.
All right.
And I'll be the guide.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like it's going to be quite the adventure.
They're always fun.
All
I mean,
right.
that's what food and wine is all about, having fun and enjoying the company.
Adventure for our taste buds. Again, only 6 spots left though, so go ahead, call the Italian Fisherman, leave a message, the phone number, this recipe on fox10tv.com on our Studio 10 page. You can make this at home. You can go tomorrow night, enjoy some wine, 4 different types, enjoy a 4-course meal. Go hungry because a lot of food there, and I am going to taste this.
You
I
should
just need
taste
to
the wine,
find-
too.
I should taste the wine. Okay.
It's aperitif
Yeah, it's the
time.
right temperature. You know, and
aperitif
this
time.
is a perfect for shellfish or shrimp too, this white wine for this dish.
Okay, go
But,
and taste tomorrow and learn a little bit more about wine. Italian Fisherman. Cheers. We'll be back.
Santé.